What's up guys, it's me, Brandon Johnson from Used Boats TV, and today we're going to take you for a ride on a beautiful 2008 Bennington 2577 RFI TriToon. Once again, what we're going to do is take this here Bennington out for a test drive and show you how to work it, so that anyone out there that's interested in a 25-foot TriToon with a 154 stroke can kind of get a rough idea of how it's going to perform, as well as how to operate it. Before we really get into the driving part here, I wanted to give you my 3 greatest tips and tricks to never take waves over the front of a TriToon. So here at the Lake of the Ozarks where we are, on the weekends it's extremely rough, and in my whole career I've never taken waves over the front of one. That was knocking on wood, it was stupid, but whatever. So here's the reason why a lot of people do that. Big waves coming, they want to slow down. So what happens, the wave has nowhere to go but over the front of the boat. Big waves coming, they freak out and speed up. So what happens, they jump that one, smash into the next one. So that's number 2. Another little tip here or trick is, if there's a big wave coming and there's room to run away, drive away from it and keep going. But the single greatest reason I feel so many people take waves over the front and bash their front ends in is simply because they want to hit it like a ski boat. On a ski boat, when the waves are coming, you use the bottom of your V to cut them straight on, just like this. So you got a 90 on each side. On a TriToon, don't do that. Hit it at a 45. So here's my wave. I'm going to turn my boat at a 45-degree angle. All you're trying to do is get one pontoon above the wave and one below it. I call it the weave. If you weave over them, you're not going to get wet. Now we're going to launch this in the water and go for a ride. But first, I'd like to introduce our channel. I've been passionately selling boats for over 19 years. The purpose of this channel is to help you and your family enjoy boats and boating just as much as my family and I enjoy it. So thanks to the help of my staff here at Heartland Marine and my sons, we've been able to successfully upload hundreds of boat reviews, instructional operation, help, and how-to videos. I don't ask for anything in return, except for the opportunity to possibly help you find a boat when the time comes. So to stay up on everything we upload, click that subscribe button below and stay tuned. Nice. So this specific Bennington has a single standalone battery system. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and show you how to work it. Before we go to start it, we go ahead and make sure it's a neutral, make sure the kill switch is on. From there, we just turn the key. This is a direct injected, fuel injected 4-stroke 150 horsepower Yamaha. So it starts extremely easy. There's really no trick to it whatsoever. If it hasn't been started in a while, you want to go back to the transom and give a few squeezes on the transom bulb or the fuel bulb. It's a little grenade looking thing right there by the between the fuel tank and the motor. So you just want to squeeze it till it's tight. You don't have to He-Man it. All you're doing is forcing fuel back to the motor. It's gravity. Fuel tank's here, motor's here, hose does this. Squeeze it, get the gravity out. So these 4-strokes are so quiet you can't hardly hear them run. And a big question we get asked a lot is, how do TriToons ride in rough water? And the answer is extremely well. They float up on top of the waves, they don't really cut through them, and that's why they run so good. So Benningtons also have a very strong build quality, and we're going to use this boat today as an example to show you just that. So this specific model has our tilt steering. We can kind of set this wherever we want it. We're going to run through now our buttons and switches, and then I'll take the camera from Billy and we'll talk about driving it. So horn works good. Accessory, God knows, sometimes at night there's a light somewhere. So nope, I just heard it. This accessory right here to the left of the wheel is the live well that comes in this specific model. As you can see, it's filling up with water. Now what happens is it'll fill up and it'll run over here and go through the drain, so it keeps recirculating. But if you are ready to drain it, just twist this little doodad and all that water will run right out. Try this accessory. God knows. Something interesting on Bennington, the furthest accessory button away from the stereo is the stereo. So we turn that on. Now we've installed new Bluetooth head unit in this specific one. You can also plug your phone into it if you didn't want to use your Bluetooth. But sounds good. I can read your mind, that's weird. Turn that down. Docking lights are the headlights up front. Navigation light, that's when you're driving at nighttime. That's the red and green built in up front, and the white light in the back. If you're stopped at night, just the anchor light, hit the button all the way down. You'll also notice that these buttons light up when it's on. So if you leave something on, there you go. We have a little Garmin Echo Map 53DV, which has been upgraded right here. So looking at our gauges, we have our tachometer, our speedometer, and we have a 3-in-1 gauge, which shows our tilt and trim, our volts, and our fuel. So just like most boats, the trim gauge in this one doesn't read accurately, so I'm going to teach you how to work trim while we're out here driving it. In place of these speedos, because they always get clogged up, this GPS right here will show us our exact speed, it'll show us our depth, as well as GPS and fish finding capability. So now that we know how to work it, I'm going to take the camera from Bill here, and we're going to drive it. So the screen doesn't blink in person, but on the camera it's blinking like crazy, isn't that? Oh, let me turn this around. All right, now it's time to go for test drive. So what we're going to prove here, or attempt to do, is we're going to find 3 speeds. How we'd operate it for water sports, our cruise speed, and our top speed. When we're doing our top speed, we're actually going to leave the boat trimmed down. That's when we put the hardest load on it. When we leave them trimmed down, we're pushing the nose of the boat down, which puts a heavy load on the motor. But you can't even hear this baby running, so I always recommend checking to make sure it's pumping water. That's how you know it's on and it's pumping water to keep the motor cool. Hey, Bill. Okay, so right here, this thing doesn't flash in with my own 2 eyes, but on camera it is definitely flashing. So this is our depth, GPS heading, GPS speed. So now we never have to worry about that thing getting clogged up. So shifting is real easy. We just push it into gear. There's a definitive catch right here for forward. Our throttle range is beyond that. These are remote units for Yamaha. If you shift real slow, you can hear them kind of drag. It doesn't do it there. Hold on. Ready? Yeah, just a little bit until you get it right into forward. So another thing I always talk about, a lot of people when they're excited to accelerate, they have the finger on the trim up button. And what happens is that motor comes out of the water. And then we're not going anywhere. See, the trim went up. Now it's starting to go back down. So that's why I was saying it just doesn't, probably just needs an adjustment on the trim sender since it does work. But always start off trimmed all the way down. And you can hear a definitive sound difference. Screams at you saying, hey, I'm all the way down, leave me alone. We are cruising at a blazing speed of 2.7 miles per hour. So for water sports, what we like to do is leave it in idle, you know, get the slack out of the line, and then we'll go ahead and push it, get my knee here, and pop that skier up. Once we got that skier popped up, then we can go ahead and watch our speed, because we want to actually not let it increase. So I'm just going to slightly bring it back. And right between 20, you know, that's fast enough for tubing. That's fast enough for knee boarding, you know, wakeboarding. But if you want to go faster, just push it down even more after you pop that skier up. Okay, so right around here, about 25 is as fast as you'd ever want to do water sports at. As you can see, the boat ride's extremely flat. You know, these TriToons are always on plane. They just ride extremely smooth. So now that we kind of know how to operate it for water sports, this individual unit stays down nice and low. I'm going to come back and explain something in neutral here. So for the 704 remote unit for Yamaha, this one specifically stays flat. Now maybe if you don't like that because your kids or someone drive the boat and you want them to always have their hand on the shifter versus letting go, on the unit, for everybody out there watching, you pop this off with a flathead screwdriver, and then you can stick another flathead screwdriver in there and adjust the tension. So this thing holds in place. Some of them, if it's coming back so that you don't have to hold it in place, you want to tighten it up, that's how you do it, or adjust it intentionally. Okay, now that we kind of know what our good speed is for water sports, let's find a comfortable cruise speed. So our best cruise speed on any boat is below 3,500 RPM. So we're going to see what kind of cruise we can get by adjusting our trim angle while we're using it. About lost my friggin' hat. We got a little bit of sunshine right there, but not much. So 23, and we're over 4,000 RPM. So I want to come back. Let's get it under 4. About 25 miles an hour. Right there. So right here is extremely smooth. I just felt the boat really release from the water by giving it about 3 trim clicks, 1 down. So about 3 clicks, 1, 2, 3, puts us around 23 miles an hour at 3,900 RPM. And this is extremely smooth. The boat just feels nice. So when we're leaving it trimmed down, we're pushing that nose down. So by giving it just a little release right here, we're allowing the boat to come on top of the water, and there's a significant difference. Now I want to push it hard, and I'm going to leave it trimmed down to find our top speed. So 4,900 RPM, 30 miles an hour, 31. That's pretty blazing for a 4-stroke 150, right around 33 miles an hour. Now watch what our trim does here. 1, 2, see our speed, 34 miles an hour. Keep trimming up, we're gonna keep trimming it up. That was too much, that was too much. Let's go back down. I brought the motor out of the water, I apologize. So right there, real close to 35. Real close to 35 miles an hour is going to be our top speed. And trimmed up probably about 10 clicks. Now you can hold your finger on it, but it's based on pressure. So since it's based on pressure, it'll adjust faster or slower than you want it to. That's why I just like to use clicks until you really get used to learning about it. So this boat operates extremely well. It's fun to drive and it rides incredibly good in rough water. So the thing with the TriToon, the greatest value is how well they ride for as many people as you can put in them, and they're very inexpensive to maintain. I just got some good maintenance questions asked yesterday. So on a 4-stroke, what do you do for maintenance? Every year change your oil. Every 5 or 6 years change your spark plugs. Don't put crappy gas in it. Try to stay at 89 or above, but don't go to 93. So 89 or 91. Do your impeller every 2 years. Lower unit oil every 2 years. Check your shaft or your shaft alignment down inside there. Every other lower unit oil change would be smart. And did I say water pump impeller? Water pump impeller every other year. Oil change every year. And that's really it. I mean, there's not a lot to do. You don't have to winterize them. As soon as they come out of the water, all the water runs out of the drive and they're winterized because there's no more water left in them. So this specific one runs extremely well. We put a hard and heavy load on it by running it hard trimmed down, and we didn't hit, miss, spit, sputter, pop, or fall on its face. So always remember that when you guys are test driving boats. But for now, we're going to go ahead and go back for the boat ramp and take you for a ride with us. This one turns extremely smooth, by the way. It does have hydraulic steering. So right around, let's say, 3,500 RPM, 2,500. It'll get a little tighter when you're making tight turns, but that's just what it does. Let's go. It's crazy how fast the leaves change colors. Now the nose doesn't shoot way up, it's just nice and smooth. Slow us down a little bit, actually. Right now we're hitting 36 with it up. That's very impressive. We were scared of rain, so we left it open. Steering So for anyone that has a TriToon that trailers their boat and tows it, putting it in the water is easy. Before you put your boat in the water though, at a public boat ramp, make sure that you have your kids and critters and coolers and everything in the boat, so you're not blocking everyone. You don't want to be that guy. So get everything in the boat before you go to actually launch it, because everybody gets annoyed. But how far do you back it in the water? You back it up until you see the rear end of the boat get lift. Once the rear end gets lift, you know that you're good to go. Start up the boat, go ahead and back in the rest of the way, unhook it, do whatever. Putting it on the trailer, that's when a lot of people struggle. And so many customers talk about how hard it is to get pontoon boats on and off trailers. Well, we never struggle with it. And I'm not bragging, that sounded bad, but the reality is people get these trailers way too deep in the water. You want about half to a third of that trailer sticking up out of the water. So the pontoons, they float on top of the wave. We've established that. If we bury the trailer in the water, it's never going to go on, only by the grace of God. So if you get about a third to a half, it leaves our bunks. So these are our bunks right here. Here's our pontoons. It's going to drive, and we're just going to drive right up on it. And if it's at a steep angle in the rear end's off, that's okay too. Go ahead and pull the boat up nice and slow and rock it by hand, and it should slide right in there. So we're going to go ahead and put this on the trailer, hopefully, because it is a little windy, and show you how to do it. One thing about gas with 150 Yamahas also, if you do start using bad gas or gas that's been sitting in the boat a long time, 150 Yamahas will get clogged injectors. So always remember that. Use good gas. And don't leave the old gas in there. It's always good to open your front door too, so you can really see where you're going. It's pretty centered. Just like that, like a boss. Slide it right in there. I'm gonna go ahead and trim up a little bit. So once you got your boat lined up, just slow, steady, applied throttle. You don't want to go herky-jerky, you get people hurt. So I'm just using my thumb, and I'm slowly pressing, and I'll get it right up on there. Was this boat all the way up on this trailer?
Yeah.
No? So that's probably good right there?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you're done, remember the battery's connected. Go ahead and shut the boat off. I personally put boat pontoons on trailers with 4 strokes. Motors are so quiet, forgot they're running, pulled it up, ring, 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 left it running. So on these, go ahead and shut everything off. We have nothing lit up, and that's it. Well, now we're going to finish up with a little drone footage. Thank you so much for riding with us. I hope this video helped you. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and I'll see you on the water.